Hello there. So for math for test engineers, let's jump in on our next topic. And our topic is propositional logic. So what's that propositional logic? If this, then that. That's what we have. If this, then that. So propositional logic is a sentence that is either true or false. And given a proposition, it is always possible to tell if it is true or false. And it will have operators, operations, expressions, and identities. We're talking about logical operators, logical expression, and logical equivalence. Very useful, especially when we are looking at the if-then-else, which evaluate to true or false. Do-while and while-do loops evaluate to true or false. And a lot of such logics, in fact, some of the techniques which we'll look at later, like decision tables, are really dependent on such kind of propositional logic. You'll also find such kind of propositional logic true when we are doing multi-condition testing. Thus, propositional logic really forms the basis of how we are going to look at certain things in a manner. And it pays to know the logic well, to know how given a proposition it would always be a true or false. Thus, you prepare those propositions in place. Preparing and putting them in a manner that they can either be true or false is also important from a communication perspective. If you are letting even the examiner know what you're trying to say, or you are letting your colleague know, or you are letting the development engineer know in your team, it would be important to make sure you make correct statements. While this is not an English course, it's important that propositional logic and documentation follows in line for us to get better test cases. So what do we have here? A very simple table of propositional logic where we have got the basic and, or, and not. We have the XOR, and then there is this implies, if then. And for the if then always provides a very challenging piece for each of the engineers to think about. So I think you should think about it, and whenever you have your contact session, you should be able to talk about it. Make sure that you understand this. A very nice concept and a very nice way of arguing. Thus, look at this particularly. The others are definitely that you will understand, you use them on a very regular basis. In addition to this, as a part of digital electronics, if you actually came from an electronics background, you would understand that we have all of this logic of flip-flops. So there is also a transition that we do, a JK flip-flop, a toggle flip-flop. Some of those logic that gets developed and state machines that are built based on those is also a nice way to understand. Programmable array logics, generic array logics, field programmable gate arrays, all of those which actually build customized propositional logic, timed logic, as well as state machines. Those are some of the advanced pieces. You may not need them. However, it would be nice to read about them, to understand them, to apply some of those concepts back into test engineering wherever you have a lot of logic involved. So that's what we have in propositional logic. Thank you.